All right. We're skipping that. We're live. No, I think he said he could make it. I shot it with the email to him, so we'll see. Hopefully we got Pearlo. I have maybe a special guest coming on, and then if we're on an hour, I have a special guest, and I'm wearing a jersey that might be a dead giveaway for the special guest. No, it is not a former player. But today happens to be the day that the city of Tempe votes on the arena for the Arizona Coyotes. And I happen to be a little bit impartial to this because my wife works there in Arizona, so I go quite a bit with her. So, hey, TCB, what's up, brother? We got TCB in. Sal's a GTA guy. If you didn't know, Rico, he's a regular on Hot Take Hockey's show and stuff. So he's obviously such a good dude. He shows out for me. But so yeah, today is the day they vote on the new arena in Arizona, and that affects Toronto fans too, because I think there's a lot of people that believe Austin Matthews is going to go there. Now, I have to ask you this because you're the resident Leaf fan for the broadcast, and I just have never got the impression that he is interested in playing in Arizona whatsoever. And he said he wants to stay as Toronto. So while the fear
he wants to stay there, but like, is he going to get paid more than McDavid, more than McKinnon? Like, is he going to put himself up on that pedestal that, man, you're going to be the highest paid guy in one of the hottest markets for hockey? Man, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself too, staying in Toronto. But if that's what you want, you're there to win. You got the key to the city if you do.
So, Rico, here's the thing. And I'm so glad you brought up highest paid, because you know what? Who paid them? Did they pay them?
No.
Kyle Dubas cut a check to those boys when they were RFAs for $11 million. Subsequently, Matthews makes what, 11.6, and Marner's like 10.9 or something, right? We could look it up on Cap Friendly, but it's not important. There has not been a single team, and there is not a current team right now left in the playoffs that has anybody over 10.5 salary. Now, Bobrovsky paid $10 million, but I think if you actually look at it, he's like not. As the years go, his goes down, so it's not as high as it once was. They kind of back it. It's still 9 something, but it's not above 10.5 because Eichel makes 10, right? And that was not a deal that Vegas gave him. But I think 10 in today's, with the salary cap has gone up enough that I feel like if you have one $10 million player, you can overcome that by adding depth. So we talked about this before, and I just am so curious to hear what you have to say. If you don't sign Tavares and you pay Marner and Matthews 7.5, 8, that's what they should have got, right? If you're looking at a lot of these extension deals now, you're seeing the Sabres handing Tage Thompson 7 years, 8 years at $7 million. That's a steal. And that's going to give them cap, regardless of the cap going up or down, that's going to give them cap flexibility for years to come. Because you can't tell me, Rico, you live there. I hear nothing but awesome things about Toronto and the people that live there. And as long as you don't mind the cold, which I'm going to say, plenty of kids grew up in that GTA area that play in the National Hockey League, probably wouldn't mind being there. But I've also heard the exact opposite, where it's like, and Sal says that's what they should have got in the beginning, is what he's saying. But I've heard people that there are a lot of people that grow up there that don't want the media scrutiny. And to me, I don't think Matthews and them have shied away from it. I just think they just don't have the answers for the questions. Anyway, I asked your opinion. Now I'm going to hear it.
Yeah, well, apparently the players there, the way they talk, they don't like the media either, it looks like, because the media is all over them, and the media knows deep down that these guys price themselves out of a championship by taking those contracts. Like when we signed Nylander first, we thought that was going to hamstring us, and that's looking like the best contract out of all. And to see Morgan Rielly even take a little less, sure, he played like crap most of the year, but man, that guy showed up. You say the core 4, you should say the core 5, man, because Morgan Rielly stepped up and he actually took a little bit less. And Yeah, and
there's no
it was the Tavares contract.
I will tell you, and this is because of my boy Hot Take Hockey, but there's no circumstance that if I was the GM of the Leafs that I would look at moving Riley, unless you're getting back like. So I heard today on Real Kipper and Born from Mike Fuda, former assistant GM of the LA Kings, Stanley Cup champion with them, that he thinks a good move would be trade Tavares for Drew Doughty. Tavares has.
I listened to that today too.
You saw that, yeah. I will say,
yeah.
If I'm the Kings, I have no idea why I would do it, but I know why Toronto would do it. The Kings don't need Tavares. Nobody does. No offense to Tavares. Tavares, we knew what was going to happen with him. He was going to age out of that contract, and he's already done so, in my opinion. And he was a non-factor in the playoffs for me. As much as, you hear Justin Hall and all these terrible names, like the thing that he did well, in my opinion, and watching the games was he won the faceoffs, more than half of them. And he should, because he's a long-time centerman in the NHL. I did hear from Pearlo he's just going to be a little bit behind, so we're okay. And it's not we have an agenda. So I just think the fix for the Maple Leafs is now if you can get somebody to take Tavares for, I would say you don't even worry about return. You're probably going to have to fork over a pick or something to get that. I mean, they had to give a first-round pick for Carolina to take Patrick Marleau's salary. To me, that's an egregious amount to pay. And I don't know. I do want to hear your opinion on if you think Dubas and them should come back. But I think if you bring Dubas back and he does understand, hey, look, there's got to be some changes, I do everything I can to move Tavares. And I trade Mitch Marner for a package that brings me back prospects or defensive help.
I was a split for sure. I was listening to the Spit and Chiclet show today too, and everybody's talking about you can't run it back with these guys. And Biz Nasty's like, just run it back with the same guys. They say they want to be there and stuff. But Tavares went and gave his post conference and said, I signed 7 years to be here. I want to be here. I don't want to go anywhere. I'll move to the wing if I have to. And the guys sound like they all want to be there and run it back. But that's easy to say now. But they've proven that they can't be a playoff type the way they are, even if you surround themselves with pieces like Achari and Riley and Shen. And if top guys aren't not producing. One other thing that I phoned today too, they're like Canucks trade requests. I guess Canucks Daily or something like that had this trade. Nylander going to Vancouver with Nick Robertson for 50% retained, Conlon, Hoglander, a third, and like a fourth or something like that too. Teams look like they might. Vancouver.
Yeah, you broke up there for a minute. Sorry. Tell me again. Tell me again what who is a part of that trade?
Vancouver was looking at getting Nylander, and they were going to send to Toronto Tyler Myers 50% retained salary with Connor Garland and Hoglander, which is a third liner, and a couple picks. I think a second and a third, or a third and a fourth.
Oh my God!
I guess it seems like maybe.
Would you do that deal?
If you're Toronto? No.
I would not do that deal. Oh my gosh.
Tyler Myers is this another guy back there that's like maybe a little more skilled, little bigger Justin Hall at this point.
So TCB Sal says Don Cherry in the Toronto Sun interview says the Leafs.
Come on, Joey, get down now. Oh,
we lost you, Rico, because of your cat.
Sorry, buddy. I got like 3 cats in the house here, and they like to jump up on stuff.
You're okay, man. Yeah. They're okay. I got 3 dogs right here, dude. You'll hear them barking. It's all good, man. Cats are probably the working man's pet because you don't have to they can kind of manage themselves. Sal says he wouldn't do that deal either. I'm kind of with that one. So I just for me, it's like you need to get we could pull up the armchair GM thing. I kind of want to talk. We got to talk the Final Four. That's the whole thing. But I did want to kind of open up with the Leafs. And again, just to me, and I'll tell you this, and low key, I'll say this before Pearlo's on here because I don't want his bias kicking in with the Edmonton Oilers. But I felt the same way about McDavid. I said McDavid is the high before McKinnon's deal kicks in next year, which it will. And it's going to hurt Colorado too. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt them. The only thing that's going to save Colorado is that they're probably going to lose Landeskog's contract off the deal. And so that's going to be the savior for them. But but the cap has not gone up enough for the NHL players for anybody on the team to be making more than $10 million, in my opinion, 10.5. It's an $80 million cap, and you got to have 12 forwards and 6D, man. Like, just take the math. That's 20 players on the ice, not counting the goalies. So 22 goalies. That's $22 million if everybody makes $1 million, right? And league minimum is right there. I mean, it's getting. I think within the next couple of years, league minimum for the NHL will be around $1 million. Just with inflation stuff, it's definitely going to be there. I mean, it's. I think it's 780, 900 for the first round. Guys are already making close to $1 million anyway.
Yeah, I think the Leafs, if they want to keep Nylander and Matthews, because those are the next guys up, they're in their last year of their deal. I think you got to buy out Matt Murray and roll with Joseph Woll and net. Freeing up that money might be the only way you could pay these two guys because Nylander's going to make a lot more than $7 million.
I don't think they're going to have to do shit with Murray. I think he's got enough injury history that they can Robidas Island him, and that will not count against the cap. Long-term IR, they can put him on LTIR. Or they could find somebody to take that contract if he thinks he can play somewhere like, say, Chicago needs another goalie or something. It seems like after the initial problem that Dubas had with Kyle Davidson, if Dubas in, now it seems like they've been pretty good trade partners. So and Chicago has like $38 million in cap space. And I know they're not the only team, but Matt Murray, if he's going to be an NHL caliber goalie, the only thing I could see is like in the Kings deal, they move Murray. In addition, they take back like Cal Peterson and it's a wash or something. But Muzzin and Murray, I think Muzzin's deal was up anyway, right? No.
I don't think so. I was just gonna say that. What if Muzzin gets healthy and he wants to play next year? I think he's got a year left on his deal too.
Well, we can look right now.
Because what if Muzzin all of a sudden wants to come back?
Team at 50 contracts. So here's what you're looking at. So here are your UFAs for the pending year. Kerfoot, he's a UFA. Rhino Ryan, David Kampf, Nola Chari, Michael Bunting, Wayne Simmons, Zach Aston Reese, Justin Hall, Luke Shen, Eric Gustafson. Okay, your RFAs are Samsonov. I think they re-signed Samsonov. They'll re-sign him.
Yeah.
And I think they can get him for 3. Now, Murray only has 1 year left on his deal anyway at 4.687. And if he can play, so yeah, Muzzin will be under contract for $5,600,000, but they've already got him on. I've heard his thing is legit. I've heard his injury is legit.
Yeah. And I think Kerfoot's gone too. I think he was $3.5 million. They're not going to re-sign Kerfoot, and I think they let Bunting walk too because Bunting's going to try and make $3 or $4 million. He's not going to get paid in Toronto. No,
they won't have the space. So, the Leafs will have somewhere in the vicinity of about $12 million, $14 million I know it says somewhere on here, but I'm not. So basically, you'd like to see them bring back O'Reilly. Okay, but O'Reilly was making 1,875 because St. Louis retained salary. Okay, so he's not going to take less than 4. I don't think. He's only 32 years old. I could imagine they bring Kampf back. He's only 28. Nola Chari, a little older, 31, but I would bring him back. I thought he was great for you guys.
He hit a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy you need just for the playoffs. Like did you hear Kipper and JB talk about this today? I thought it was funny. They don't really want to bring Luke Shin back. They just like to trade for him at the deadline again.
Yeah.
They don't want a whole season of him playing up there with Riley.
Sure.
Because they know what that will mean.
Yeah.
If Toronto signs Samsonov, the starter Wall will back him up. I actually think TCB, they would do wise in just saying they're not going to have a starter. They're just going to play both goalies.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. Just play goals. A Wall to me I told you I saw him, Rico, in Tampa play against them in the second last game season for Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And Tampa wanted to win that game because they did the stick presentation for Stamkos for 1,000 points or 1,000 games. The silver stick. I think it's 1,000 points. Anyway, they played. I think he had 44 saves, and they won the game 4-2, the Leafs did. So it was one of those things where it was like, he looked good, and I was impressed with him. Now, Samsonov was injured. We all knew he was injured. It looked like he was injured. Again, why they didn't just put Wall in like a couple games earlier. And honestly, dude, I think Toronto is still – I don't know that the series is over. You know what I'm saying? We might actually have had a longer series. I'm not saying Toronto would have ultimately won that series, but it was surprising to me that you have the depth. Like, look at what Vegas did. Laurent Brossoit hurt. Aiden Hill comes in, and in my opinion, Aiden Hill.
They're on their 4th goalie, Vegas, man. Some teams can't even get one goalie. Vegas is on their 4th, 5th, if you count Jonathan Quick, yeah.
No. Robin Lehner to start the year. Before the season starts, he has to have season-ending hip surgery.
Yeah.
So
Logan Thompson.
He gets hurt. He's out. Then they use Brossoit, Hill. And they get Jonathan Quick because all those other guys are – so they have had 5 goalies. Yeah, at one point start. I think they set an NHL record where they had 4 different games and won all 4 of them with different goalies. Dude, I'll tell you too, like I like Dallas. They're not beating Vegas. When the Capitals, my Washington Capitals, played Vegas in the finals, William Karlsson was their number 1 center.
For sure.
He's their third-line center. And I'll tell you right now, I don't know what got up Jack Eichel's butt, but every time I looked up, he was taking the puck off McDavid's stick.
I know. And number 2 in the draft just took McDavid out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and with hey, Eichel doesn't have Leon Draisaitl to pass the puck to either.
No.
Like, I like Mark Stone. He's not half the offensive player Draisaitl is. I will tell you, I said this to Pearlo, the only thing you can count on is that Edmonton was going to win the power play battle. And they did. And you know what? If you look at the power play numbers, the Vegas Golden Knights did really well in the power play. Yes, that's because Edmonton wasn't good defensively. And that's where their problems are. I mean, Leaf fans can complain, but they have a core 4 there too. Now, Nugent Hopkins doesn't make a ton of money, right? I think he's $7 million now or something.
But he didn't show up in the playoffs either.
He was invisible in the second round. I mean, you didn't see much from him. He was winning faceoffs and stuff. He was Tavares, really, for them. Yeah. And he's been there a long time. I know he looks like a 12-year-old boy, but like he played with Ryan Whitney. I have a picture of a game I went to in 2013 with my brother in Arizona, and I sat right behind the Oilers bench, and Ralph Kruger was the coach, and they had Yakupov, Hall, Nugent Hopkins, and Eberle. And I got Ryan Whitney getting off the bench. So, like,
yeah.
I got to get that printed out and have him autograph it. In fact, I got a card, and I wish I would have grabbed it. I don't know where it is. If Pearlo comes on, I might put you 2 on and go find it. But Ryan Whitney had it. So here's what happened in the States, if you're not aware. the NHL asked ESPN to move the Edmonton Oilers game up 2 hours to 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. For you, it would have came on that time on Sportsnet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they refused because of Sunday Night Baseball. The Red Sox and and look, it's not the Red Sox and the Cardinals are like, there's like 5 franchises in Major League Baseball people give a crap about. Those are 2 of them. Like the Red Sox and the Cardinals have won the most World Series other than the Yankees. Like they're up there, right? And their fan bases are pretty rabid. Like or St. Louis is a baseball town, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's a hockey town. I don't care what anybody says. It's one of the few towns in America that I would say over everything, it's a hockey town. I think that's why they take those Bruins losses pretty hardcore. But apparently in Major League Baseball, they have some pull and stuff. But Ryan Whitney went on a rant about how ridiculous it was. He was no. It was Mother's Day here in the States, which I think you guys celebrate the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just unbelievable. Oh, what's going on? Why does this keep timing out on me? I don't know. Understand why. I got to figure this out. Anyway, yeah, well, just bear with me. Anyway, an absolute travesty that game started at 10 o'clock Eastern. And it was a potential elimination game with the league's best player in it. Just kind of ridiculous, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then he said, you should have started it at 1:30, but then you had the NBA game in the afternoon too, so your hands were tied. There was an NBA game at 3:30, then Sunday Night Baseball. But yeah, ESPN had some clause way back when, and apparently they can't be put in a hockey game when there's Sunday Night Baseball. Nothing can interfere. I sort of heard that on Spit Chicklets when Whitney was ranting about it too.
Have the whole game on. Yeah, you heard his rant.
Yeah.
I just got to give him a ton of credit on it, and
Yeah.
I do not know what's going on. Why is this timing out? Oh, here we go. All right. Sorry about the dead air. What in the heck?
Okay, what's wrong?
It just, my screens keep going out like while I'm on with you. So I'm actually doing something, but then the screensaver kicks on. It's just annoying. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. So we're not waiting for Pearlo. I got it in the thing. We're way past 15 after. So he makes it great. If he doesn't, I definitely want to hear his thoughts on the series, and we'll give him, a couple seconds to cry about Edmonton. I got it in the back. Let's talk about it. You're wearing the Jamie Benn. So I'm going to guess you're a closet Dallas Stars fan. Oh, here he is. Let him get situated here. So Stars kind of like your second favorite team?
Not really. I honestly won the jersey. I got a few jerseys that I've won. There's a hockey tournament I play up north, and they auction off NHL jerseys every year. So
you said that last time.
Yeah. I got an old Rick Nash Columbus one. I got a Zach Parise Minnesota one. I got the Jamie Benn one. But I put money on Dallas to win the cup before the playoffs started too. And I got Ottinger and Pavelski as Conn Smythe. So those are good money makers for me. And I thought the Oilers were going to be there, Pearlo, but I was going to buy an Oilers jersey if they would have beat Vegas.
We're just talking about. We just got to the West. We haven't talked about the East yet. We're just talking about the West because we were talking a little bit about the South. I wanted a couple of questions with Rico about the Leafs. We wanted to talk a little bit about the Leafs. We're getting blinded by your track lighting, though, a little bit.
Send a link to my email.
I already did that. I sent it to both your emails early this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not showing up on my email.
Are you talking email or messenger, in Twitter, the Twitter inbox?
I emailed them to you, Pearlo.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
One sec.
No. Pretty sure I emailed them to you.
Okay, let me try this again. Let me try to go in again on my email here.
I don't know which one it went from, but All right.
Okay, it should go now.
I sent it to both your emails
Okay.
that I have.
It says I'm in backstage right now. I took it. I did your email.
Okay, hold on. I can't see you. No, I got you up front. You're here. You
But
can't
this
be
is
logged in
my
on
phone.
two devices.
This is on my phone. Yeah, get rid of my phone.
Oh,
I got rid of him. You asked me to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you disconnect yourself, man. I can't just boot you. I don't want to ban you from the studio because if I do that, you'll never be able to come back in. Like I have banned from studio. Yeah, I emailed it. You got the link right there. You go. That's what you got to do. He has to log out or whatever. Okay, sorry about that production stuff. All right, yeah, and you only have a first round pick and a fifth and a sixth next year. So you could use that to get some. They have to trade Marner before July 1st if they're going to make that trade. I think Matthews would be the same, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tavares already has the NTC. Okay, so Western Conference Finals. Who do you got?
Oh man,
you got to ride with your Dallas, right? Because you bet money on them.
All right, well, Dallas has a goaltending. I know Hill's been playing incredible for Vegas. Vegas is deeper, especially on D. Dallas has top-end talent. You know, Vegas can roll all the lines. You know, one thing about Vegas, too, it's nice. You got Riley Smith. Marchessault is playing amazing right now. And Carlson. Those are the three original guys that were there when Vegas basically came into the league. So if I'm cheering for anybody on Vegas, those guys, not that dirtbag Pietrangelo. But the Dallas, I'd like to see Pavelski get a cup. That's the biggest thing over there. And I think Ottinger can, you know, steal this series. He's bad one game, but, you know, he comes back with a win. So I don't know. I think it's going to be an amazing series. It goes 7 either way. It's tough because you could pick and have cases for both teams. Man, it's going to be a good series. It's not going to be a quick one. It's going to be a long one. But, man, that well-coached, even Peter DeBoer, the old Vegas coach, 7-0 in Game 7s. Like, both teams are really well-coached. It's going to be – I think it's going to be one of those series where the home team wins their home games. I don't know. It's going to be tough to go on the road, I think, and win in that series, it feels like.
Yeah, I like Vegas all the way. I feel like they have the deeper lines, they have the better depth. The only thing you could make the argument is that Ottinger is way better than Aiden Hill, and I just don't think we know that. Aiden Hill's big in net. He's not a small guy. Mm-hmm. Ottinger had some poor games against.
And they just shut down the world's best player and probably the second best player in the NHL. They just shut them down 5-on-5 for the whole series.
Pearlo, are you having problems with your camera? Okay, there we go. Okay, we got you. Yeah, I just like Vegas in that series. They just feel like the deeper. What'd you say?
No.
I'm gonna just drop you till you get yourself situated, okay? Oh my God, I keep doing this. Just give me a thumbs up on screen, Pearlo, when you're good to go here. All right. Yeah, so I'm with you. I like the Vegas Golden Knights.
Dallas had a couple of good pickups, though. They're playing good. Ian Dadanoff's not playing that bad, and Domi's having a great last series, too. Like, that was a good pickup by Dallas. Sneaky good pickup, Max Domi for Dallas.
Why did another guy Toronto could have added? I think that would have just
for sure. Oh, the name Domi in Toronto, that would have been, man.
Right.
Imagine have his old man Ty up in the crowd watching Leaf playoffs games with the name Domi on the back of a Leaf jersey again.
Okay, we good, Pearlo?
No, it's not working.
Okay. What's not working?
I just got a new camera and it's not going.
Okay, well,
go back to Old Faithful then, whatever you're using before.
What I'm saying is if you have a new camera, one, you got to cover the old one up with it. or tape, and you may have to actually tell the program itself to use that camera.
Yeah, I did. I already did that, and it's not working. I think I got to change this background.
Okay, you can do that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I got to get
that
off.
light.
I got to get off the virtual background probably.
Okay.
None. There we go. Can you see me now?
I mean, we can see you. It's just really not great. But I don't know if that has to do with your connection or there's the lights right behind your head, man. Just shine. I mean, like that's hurting you. I'm just gonna we'll let them figure it out here. Okay. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel like it's Vegas' series to lose. I think Eichel's on a mission to yeah, Pearlo, if you can hear us, Sal in the chat, he's watching, it's blurry. And I usually pull up the broadcast, and you're not on yet, but it was looking pretty Rico, you're coming in pristine. I don't know what you're doing differently.
I'm using my cell phone now as my camera and my mic.
Yeah, it's way good.
Yeah.
It's way good, dude. Yours looks great. So let's get Pearlo back in here. Yeah. Oh wow, Pearlo, you're just oh, that's perfect. You're good now. Something more.
There we go.
I can see you. Your light sucks ass, but everything you look good there for a minute.
My mic is not good.
Move. Just move your mouth, Pearlo. Just stand there real quiet. So Pearlo, before you came on, we may have a surprise guest here. I'm hoping a half hour. I am wearing the Arizona Coyotes Cucina jersey. Got the Cucina hat on. This is Biz Nasty. I got Biz. I need to get a Kachuk, though. That's the guy I loved on
there
that
we
team.
go. Now we're good. Now we can hear it. I got blurred in the back. No, like you can't see anything. Okay, good. We're good.
Okay, good. All right, yeah, Pearlo, just explaining to you that while I'm wearing the Kachina jersey, we might have a surprise guest here in 30 minutes. Today is the day they vote in Arizona on and it's just the Tempe area there on that Resolute to build that arena. So, and it's not going to raise any taxes for anybody there. So, hopefully it passes. Hopefully they want some progress and we can finally get a state-of-the-art facility for a franchise who's really kind of overcome a lot in spite of poor ownership and just a lot of bad things that happened to them. I mean, they went to 3 conference finals years in a row. They went, when they were in a crappy arena. I didn't mind the Glendale arena, but it was just it was way out there. There's just not enough people to draw.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised they even got as many people as they did. That's why people say, well, it's not a success in Arizona. If you're filling half of that rink on a half an hour drive, I'd say you have a successful fan base there.
Like, well, let's bring it in. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Finish your point.
They were filling half the arena, and they had to drive like almost 40 minutes to get there. I'd say you have a successful fan base. It's just getting a better place to play. That's all.
Would we agree that the hockey, center of the universe is Toronto?
No, Toronto would agree. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying that's where most of the media and stuff is. That's the largest populated city in Canada, which is the most hockey or one of the most hot. So let me just say this. The point I'm making, because I don't want to focus on that point of the point, is that 2 of the Leafs' most popular players are both Arizona born and raised. Matthew Nyes and Austin Matthews. If you can't tell me it's not working in Arizona, look at the youth. It takes time. Look, I heard rumors that Winnipeg is in bad shape. They may be moved. That's why we keep hearing Atlanta again in the concept. Because they know that Atlanta has the population. It just never was done right there either. They were in a bad location. They were not in a good arena. They were in a basketball arena that has obstructed views. And we know it doesn't work in hockey. The way you fall in love with that sport is watch it in person, right, guys? Has anybody once here been to a hockey game in person that you liked, that you didn't like more than being on TV? You know what I'm saying? I've never been to a game I haven't liked more than television.
Winnipeg's got to operate like the Tampa Bay Rays of baseball. You're not going to get a lot of free agents that are going to go there. Nobody's going to want to sign a long-term deal in Winnipeg. You got to build from within. You got to build smart, and you got to have good staff, good coaching. And one thing about that arena, they don't seat as many as a regular season arena. I know when they built that thing, they should have built it a little bigger in there to hold more fans, but they didn't. But
which arena are you talking?
Oh, the one in Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard they wrote fans that they're losing money and that they need people to go to games. I also heard from a reliable source on a reliable radio station in Canada that the Ottawa Senators are losing something like $24 million a year.
Well, I wonder if that's why Ryan Reynolds is not in the conversation anymore to own that team.
I can explain it to you, but it has more to do with the exclusive land. They wanted to have some exclusive bargaining for some land because I think the sale of Ottawa, I think everybody knows that team has to be moved out of Canada and into downtown Ottawa.
I've been there. I've watched the game in there before. It's you wouldn't even know that the arena was there unless you drove right to it. You're driving by, there's it looks like one of those plazas that has a Jack Astor's, a Boston Pizza, a Winners, a Marshall's, it looks like a little strip mall area parking lot. And all of a sudden there's this big arena there. It looks like, and then there's a big arena in the middle of the parking lot. And you got to basically take a highway in and out of there. And yeah, no, I've driven through there before because we have relatives in Metcalfe, which is just north of Canada. And we were on our way there for Christmas one time, and we drove from Barrie, and that's the way you take there to Ottawa. So we were getting close to the arena, and I was listening to the radio, and then all of a sudden Washington was playing Ottawa. And I got my wife to drop me off at the arena. I walked in, $70. I got a second level seat, and I went watch a game by myself. And then I took one of those buses that are out there, and they take off from outside the arena. They have buses that are lined up taking people to and from the arena. They look like city buses, because you can't go anywhere from there. It's just, there's no downtown, there's nothing around there. So it's definitely a different spot if you're coming into town from that end.
Yeah, I think this sale is everybody is we have to have this new arena built. And I don't think they're asking taxpayers to pay for it or anything. I think they're willing to do it themselves. I just think it's one of those things where I think that's a lot of it, but I just read today, I think they accepted 3 bids. So obviously Ryan Reynolds' group is out, but it is what it is. So
yeah,
I'm getting some feedback from somebody. Somebody's got something on in the background. I don't know.
No, I don't have anything on in the background.
I don't think I do either.
Okay. Well, maybe.
I have no TV on or nothing right now.
Did somebody talk? Did somebody have a family member talk? No worries.
Yes. Yeah, maybe somebody.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Oh, not a big deal, Pearlo. No big deal. Family's gonna be family. Yeah. I'm actually. It's odd that I'm getting it from you, Pearlo, because you're wearing your headphones.
So, yeah, I know. I'm surprised that you would hear any conversation.
So I don't know.
That's why I'm wearing my headphones. So
yeah, something's going on there. Okay, well, so Rico just stepped away from the thing, but let's go ahead and talk about the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
We do not have the jerseys for the Carolina Hurricanes or Florida Panthers. I have procured 2 Florida Panther Matthew Tkachuk jerseys, but they have not gotten here in time because I wanted to have them for these playoffs. I forever and a day wanted a Scott Mellenby jersey. I always liked him as a player.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't find one that was quality, so it's tough now, man. Oh, did I drop you on? That was me, Pearlo. That was me on accident there. Sorry.
Am I hesitating? I'm hesitating on my side. Am I hesitating on your side?
It just feels like you're everything on your side is just a little bit slower because your picture's still not really sharp. So it could just be internet connection or something too.
Must be a connection problem. I don't
check
know.
When you buy a new camera, sometimes too, there's drivers, I don't know, man. I use Apple, you plug shit in and it works. That's why I like it.
This is a Microsoft, so it might take a while for it to click in. But I got a new camera and I got a new light because you do a good production here. So I wanted to make sure that we could see.
Yeah, no. I want it for you, Pearlo, because you give us such good content with your bet picks and stuff. I know you're betting a little baseball and stuff too. So we'll always give you the floor.
Baseball's doing crazy good, and NBA is doing even better. But let's get into this Florida-Carolina series.
Yeah, let's go. Go ahead, man. Tell me what you think.
Oh, what happened to?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. His phone might be dying. Here he comes.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
he's back. He's back.
I've got a real problem with this series. Okay, so with Carolina, Florida. If you're going pure system, Carolina wins this all day.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with
pure
you.
System. If they had Svechnikov and Teravainen,
they are going to have Teravainen. Teravainen 100% is playing.
Yeah, but so as much as I'm a system guy, and I haven't stuck to that enough this year, because I should have been taking Vegas over Edmonton. Florida has
Sorry.
Florida has the Warriors.
Yeah.
That's
and they have. So here's what I like from Florida.
And the better goaltending.
They have the better goaltending and they have the better forwards. They have the more gritty. I just feel like I can't see Sebastian Aho out grittying Sam Bennett. Nothing against Sebastian Aho.
Not a chance.
I think he's a great player.
Yeah,
Kotkaniemi, not going to handle Carter.
Let's put it this way. If Florida wins the first two games, they win.
I mean, I think if Carolina is such a good home team, that's why I'm like, they got home ice advantage. Brind'Amour is not going to get out coached by Maurice. But the one thing I'll say, Pearlo, and I really want to hear both you and Rico's opinion on this specific topic. That style of Brind'Amour's hockey, you have to play so hard. I just wonder if they wear out, even though they finished in 5.
I'm the opposite. I wonder if Florida wears out.
Well, that could be too.
Because Carolina plays a system game, Florida plays an aggressive offensive game, and I wonder if they wear out by the end of it. Like, I feel like Carolina in 7. But anyways, go ahead, Rico.
Okay. Yeah, Rico.
No, I'm pulling for Carolina in this one too. The big one is I want to see Brett Burns win a cup because he's a Barrie boy too. So one thing about Carolina is that's different from Toronto too is Carolina is going to get shots from everywhere. Burns puts up 6-7 shots a game. They well coach in Florida. Carolina doesn't make a lot of mistakes either. They're the masters of chipping that puck out and out of their zone. Brind'Amour's going to go on one of his rants a couple times during the series as well. He's got that team playing like Brind'Amour played when he won the cup as a captain. It's almost like Brind'Amour's on the ice with these players, it feels like. There's a lot of depth there. You got a Jordan Martinook that's all of a sudden playing like a beast. Jarvis, the guy the Leafs lost in that Patrick Marleau, send him over to get the Marleau contract out of him. I know Carolina reminds me a lot of like Vegas. And Dallas reminds me a lot of like Florida, from Dallas and Florida's goaltending to their top end forward talent, where Vegas and Carolina are a lot deeper, well coached. I think good team structure, deep, a lot of good defense. There's two teams that remind me of each other. It's kind of funny.
I agree with you. The one thing I would say about Florida is they wish they had a Heiskanen.
Yeah. Well, Montour's been good, but he might wear down too. That guy's playing like 30 minutes a game, man. For them to rely on Montour,
Heiskanen is playing 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Montour's the same.
And he has to, because Florida, and this is where Rico and I probably agree. Florida's defense is not that great.
No, Mark Stahl. Mark Stahl went over to Florida, man, thinking he was going to play 10 to 12 minutes a game. And they said that on Chicklets today too. They're like, Mark Stahl, all of a sudden he's playing in top minutes and everything. He had no idea when he went to Florida. He thought he was just going to be like a fill-in guy, you know?
Yeah. He was like, I'll live in Fort Lauderdale and collect league minimum. And
for sure.
Tonight.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I'm glad you brought Mark Stahl up. I wanted to talk about this. So
all the
Mark
stalls.
and Eric, all the stalls are going to play each other.
Yeah.
Right? Jordan's still on Carolina. He's going to be matched up against the top line of Florida because he's their shutdown center, right? And Eric
won a cup there
with Carolina. That's you know what, you could say whatever you wanted to about the Stahl brothers. Them guys are awesome. So I'm with you. Burns is a guy I'd like to see win, a fellow Beardo guy. I'd love to see win a cup. For me, there's one guy that I want to see win a cup over anybody left in the playoffs, and it's Joe Pavelski. But I would not be sad for Jack Eichel because I loved how he played against Edmonton. I thought he was so good defensively, and he was good offensively. He showed up.
Jack Eichel sacrificed everything for that series.
He did good, man.
And I fucked up huge taking
you
Edmonton.
Didn't. Pearlo, you didn't, because let me remind you, when we first started getting together, you did not know who to take in that series, and we all kind of agreed with you.
I was totally on the fence, but I really.
You know what it is, Pearlo?
No,
I'll tell you. He's betting with his heart, not his head.
Yeah, I bet with my heart. Yeah.
But one more thing,
totally true. I bet with my heart.
This is what it is. You know hockey, and you know what you're seeing. The problem is when you're watching your Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
You're not watching the Vegas Golden Knights, and I don't watch Edmonton every night. So they couldn't catch Vegas. And Vegas went through, Rico and I talked about it before you were on here. They had 5 different goalies this year. Mm-hmm. And they never skipped a beat. And
Sean Burke. Sean Burke.
Well, but Bruce Cassidy too, though. They did a good job. But yes, Sean Burke. No one's going to argue with you.
Sean Burke's a fucking genius, man.
Yeah, I'm going to flip this around.
That's the reason why I'm taking Vegas over Dallas.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm taking Vegas over Dallas. And I have a future on Dallas.
I'm cheering for Dallas because I bet on them, but I think Vegas is just going to keep coming. Every single player on that Vegas team could play 5-on-5, and they learned not to take penalties against the Oilers, and they just shut down the top 2 best players in the NHL, man. Vegas is rolling right now.
As much as I love Dallas's forward group, there's not one guy on that team that is scary like McDavid or Draisaitl. Maybe Rupe Hintz as far as speed.
Rupe Hintz.
But he doesn't have the offensive scoring ability that McDavid has.
System-wise, Vegas wins all day. That's it. Basically, Ottinger has to go nuts, and I believe he could do that.
Yeah,
but
he didn't play that good against Seattle, I think, and he got lucky. He got lucky in Game 7 because Seattle didn't generate a ton of offense. And Grubauer played amazing. I thought he outplayed Ottinger, in fact, and had Grubauer not let that Wyatt Johnson goal in, that game goes to overtime.
Yeah,
there's another guy that turned 20 on Sunday. Wyatt Johnson, birthday night. Turned 20 years old on Sunday. Like, unreal, man. He had that backhand shelf short side on Grubauer. That was a skill goal, man. For Dallas to have that kind of depth coming through the ranks with those vets, like I thought they were in trouble, man, when they were heavy on Ben and Seguin and Pavelski, and the rest wasn't coming. And you saw Heiskanen getting a little better, and all of a sudden Ottinger came out of nowhere.
I challenge anybody to find an organization that's drafted better than the Dallas Stars.
There is nobody.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
There is nobody.
Yeah,
Dallas has the best draft development and development system in the league, bar none.
Yeah. You got to give
there's organizations that do well, but nobody better than Dallas.
You got to give Jim Neal and that scouting department like a ton of credit.
Amazing. They barely had any draft picks, and almost all of them have hit. And not only have they hit, you get guys like Johnston, amazing.
Heiskanen.
Heiskanen was third
Nick
overall.
Robertson. Nick Robertson has had
Nick
80-something
Robertson.
goals in the last 2 years.
Jason Robertson.
Oh,
Nick's in
I'm
Toronto.
sorry, Jason. Nick is the Toronto.
Do you know that Jason?
Nick hasn't come around yet.
Calgary was going to take Jason Robertson if Dallas didn't, and they couldn't find a way to draft up to get him. Imagine that. Yeah, but would Calgary develop that player as well as Dallas has? And
I doubt it.
Probably not, because they got this old school mentality, and Dallas has a very progressive mentality. I really like their team. They could win this series, but I don't think they're there yet. I think
that you're 100% right. I think that team is on the verge of something special, and there's still plenty of guys from that team that lost in the Cup Finals to Tampa. But I thought when they got there, the battle in the West at the time beat it out of them, and that's why they didn't do well in the finals against Tampa. And didn't that still go 6 games? So,
my 2 biggest regrets in this series was I had Seattle, Colorado in 7, and I took Colorado, but I really wanted Seattle, and I should have took them.
Well,
and
but the
other one was the Vegas Edmonton. I wish I would have took Vegas.
Well, Pearlo, you could forgive yourself for the Vegas Edmonton one. Everybody and their mother had Edmonton.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have.
Except for the people that actually watch Vegas play. And then as far as Seattle over Colorado, man, we didn't know. I mean, it was like a week before the playoffs. Landeskog was maybe coming back, and then we heard he's not coming back for an entire another year. So you think if Landeskog goes in the lineup there, I don't see how Colorado beats.
No, Landeskog doesn't. But when I heard McInnes say that, like publicly, that they were screwed, he publicly said they were screwed if Landeskog wasn't in. That was a defeatist mentality. And you look at their offensive depth all through the year, I should have been on Seattle all day there.
Well, Nichushkin too, though, right? Nichushkin was out. That was that happened during that series that he was out. So I don't know what you do there, man. Like I saw one person nationally pick Seattle, and that was Hot Take Hockey, John Viveros. Shout out John Viveros. Hopefully
nice for him. I had it in 7, and I barely took Colorado. Barely.
Yeah, I don't think you were alone in that one. Rico, you feel good about Carolina and Dallas in the finals for you? I'm saying Carolina and the Vegas Golden Knights. I would not be surprised if Florida does it, though. They keep proving us wrong. And they would be like the Kings from the year the Kings were the 8th seed. They beat the 1, 2, 3. That's literally what will happen. They beat Boston. Then they beat the Leafs were 3, and Carolina will be 2.
The thing that scares me at Florida is Kachuk. That's what scares me about Florida.
Well, the Leafs didn't wake him up in that series either. I think he didn't get anything in that series.
How about this? If I think a Fort Lauderdale / Vegas Sin City final would be awesome. Okay, 1, because they'll be affordable. We could get tickets and go. Respectively. Cool. 2, those are 2 of the best party cities in America. So it would be a good time. It would be a good final. There'll be nobody hating covering that. And
Florida and Vegas?
Yeah.
That would be insane.
And how about this? This is my hot take. I'm going to say it how about the Florida Panthers get their first Stanley Cup win, and Vegas becomes, they become always the darling, right? Never the champ. 2 times in the finals before they lose to a team who wins their first Stanley Cup ever. Florida was 0-1. They went 96, right? Under the tutelage of Doug McClain. Shout out Mac. And just like the Washington Capitals, they were 0-1. They had lost to the Red Wings, got swept. So if we get a Florida-Vegas final, I'm going Florida the whole way, just because it feels so weird to me But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. How do you think, Pearlo, for your Stanley Cup predictions?
Man, I dropped the ball because I said that I'm going to go with 5-on-5 teams the whole way. And if that's the case, I should have took Vegas over Edmonton. Florida has an amazing offensive, talented, kick your ass, I'm going to beat you down type team. But Carolina has the team that is going to dissect you. So you can come beat us up all you want, but we will dissect the shit out of you. Basically, Carolina is the nerd, and Florida is the team that everybody wants to win, so they can make themselves feel like that if you beat the shit out of somebody, you win. So I'm taking Carolina.
Carolina all the way, Stanley Cup final.
Once we get to Vegas, if I would have to say the same thing about Vegas.
We already talked about we talked
So
about.
I'm taking Vegas, Carolina. Carolina wins the cup. Yeah.
You know, the NHL, for their production, everything points towards Florida and Vegas. Like even their pregame shows, they're gonna have a puck sitting on the beach in the sand for their little pregame warm-up camera shot. Then they're gonna have a puck sitting in the sand in the desert promoting Vegas, and it's just gonna be wild if those two teams make it. Those two markets. If the NHL had to handpick two of them, it'd be those two. They'll promote Kachuk. He's American, and they'll promote Jack Eichel because he's American. They'll promote both of them.
I don't think there's I'll tell you right now, no one would be sad if McDavid was there because of how big a draw he is. He's starting to become like, Gretzky personification, right? Everybody knows who he is. So, I don't know anything about that, but like, I'll just say this. Sorry guys, I got some weird news in the middle of this thing. So, I just, for me, Vegas, I think gets by, like we said, Dallas, I think they just match up better. And the only thing I'd say with Carolina is I just don't trust their goaltending. And I feel like if Florida plays as well as they can play, I could see all they have to do is win one game in Carolina. If they win one game in Carolina, I feel like it's them. If they go to the finals, man, I want to say Vegas, but it's like, I don't know. It's so tough.
I don't agree that they have to win one game in Carolina. I mean,
they haven't lost in 3 years in Carolina.
Yes, I think Florida could win both games in Carolina and still lose the series. My problem with Florida is what happens in game 6, 7, and 8. If Florida takes them out in
6, 7, and 8, how are we playing?
Sorry about that. 5, 6,
what
7.
What is an 8 game coming in here, Pearlo?
Is it a super series?
My problem is 6, 7. My problem.
You got to win 5 to make it to the Cup Finals.
Sorry about that. Yeah. My problem is 6, 7. They can win both games in Carolina, and I think Carolina can win both games back. It's if they got to take it in 5 if they're going to win it. They got to beat them up right away, because if it goes longer than 5, Carolina will beat them. I'll be over if Florida wins the first game. Okay, whatever.
I'm going to make the same mistake 3 times. I actually did not think Florida would beat Toronto, or Toronto would beat Florida. I go Florida just beat Boston. They're going to mow Toronto.
Both of us had Florida.
And Florida's going to play that same thing again. They're going to play the underdog story. Maurice is going to get into media again and start toying with the media, just the way he uses words and everything. Everybody's on Carolina. Nobody's on Florida again.
Wasn't he a poet too, Rico?
The problem is you have Brindamore now. This is a different. They haven't even seen this animal yet.
Well, then you
They
got
haven't seen
Burns, you got Slavin, you
Toronto,
got
and
Pesci, Gostisbehere is playing good. Like,
they haven't
Carolina is
seen
so
the
deep, man.
animal. They haven't seen this animal of a completely mechanical team that doesn't give a shit about what you say. They're not going to lose because of what you say. They're not going to lose because
Carolina's going to be a good home team.
No.
Yeah, they are the best home team in the NHL. I think they're the one team. I think it makes a huge difference
because what's going to happen?
Everybody else, it doesn't matter. MSG, too many suits. Same with Toronto, too many suits. Edmonton, they're pretty good, but they lost a couple games this year in the playoffs at home. They lost game 1 against the Kings. In fact, I still think Edmonton got lucky. I think the Kings were not healthy. They got banged up at the wrong time. They probably win that division, honestly, if they stayed healthy the whole year. The way Copley and Korpisalo were playing at the end there, and I just felt like, because they didn't have Fiala came back for that series. He wasn't 100%. He did not look like the guy I saw early in the year. And Pearlo and I talked about it at the beginning of the season. I was like, meh, Fiala, not a big on. He was awesome this year for them, and he was exactly what they needed.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that deal either, but I have to admit it worked out well.
I took a long shot on LA to win the cup too. And it broke my heart.
Did you get that from RA? Did you get that from RA?
No. I just took LA. You know what? Maybe I did hear it from along the line. I remember hearing it somewhere that, like, if you're going to take a dark horse to win the cup, but RA, I think, has a long shot on Florida to win the cup.
He does too. He had one on them too. Yeah. He has one on them too. It's so fun.
But I think with Edmonton too is, Bouchard was great power play guy, but to ask him to play 25 minutes a game, I don't think he's ready to do that in Edmonton. And I think running him out there for that many minutes on 5-on-5, I think that hurt Edmonton as well.
Oh yeah, Edmonton was bad everywhere but the power play, and that's not going to ever be forgotten. Again, I asked you this before we started, Pearlo. You weren't here. We could talk a little bit about salary cap stuff and off-season stuff now that we've all kind of picked our conferences and stuff. I just wonder about having salary tied up. Now, we talk about the Leafs core 5 because you throw Riley in there along with Tavares, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. With Edmonton, you sort of have a core 4 now too, because Ekholm's long-term, like he's got 6 years or 5 years left on that deal. So he's 8 or something. Nurse is 9.5, which just makes me laugh every time I say it out loud. He literally makes Pietrangelo makes 888. So Pietrangelo
Ekholm is 10 times the defenseman of Nurse.
Oh no, yeah. No, I know. I'm not shitting on Ekholm. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying that I'm laughing with you because Ekholm is 10 times.
Yeah.
10
well,
times.
No, the fact that I think that Pietrangelo is 10 times the defenseman Nurse is too, because he makes he makes
just about anybody. Nurse is not a good defenseman.
Why did St. Louis feel like they couldn't pay Pietrangelo $8,800,000 a year, and he makes exactly that until 26, 27. And as good a skater as he is, as long as he doesn't get injured, he'll be fine. He's only 33 years old.
Because they made a pact in St. Louis that they're not going to pay anybody over 30 on an year.
And you know what they're going to do? They're going to compete for a cup again. They'll compete for a cup again, too, because they're keeping their caps flexible. I think it hurt St. Louis this year more than anything to lose David Perron. So that I wonder if they regret the Thomas and Kyrou deals as early as they did. I thought
their biggest mistake was giving Leddy a deal.
Well, yeah.
That defense was absolutely diabolically bad.
Yeah, they weren't good. But Pearlo, if they had Alex Pietrangelo there, how good would they look?
Yeah, I would have gave Pietrangelo the money. He was
Yeah.
a top 15 defenseman in
Yeah,
the
I
league
mean,
at the time.
he was so
Like,
good for Team Canada the last time you guys played.
I would that was a mistake. Certainly because the reason why you didn't was to give who the money? Who did you give the money instead of Peter Angelo?
Colton Parenko.
Parayko. Are you fucking kidding me? I'll give
The
Peter
guy's a
Angelo.
cement head.
Are you
Well, hold on,
kidding me?
hold
That
on.
was ridiculous. man.
Okay, in fairness to St. Louis,
No,
I
there's
think
no
a lot of
fairness.
GMs would have made that mistake, and I'll say why.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree because they didn't have an analytics team. That's why.
Well, that and they got Torrey Krug there. And who's the other right shot D they got from Carolina? Starts with an F.
Justin Falk.
Dustin Falk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got Falk and Parayko and Krug.
I'll take
Yeah.
Peter
So
Angelo
Falk-
over both of those guys.
Okay, but
all
so
day.
Falk, Krug, and Parenko all make the exact same amount of money, 6'5". So that's not 888. That's in fact, they don't have a guy on their roster that makes over 6'5", except for next year, Jordan
Their
Kyrou.
idea was to have more depth rather than give Peter Angelo the money. But the problem was Parayko is a 5'6" defenseman. So they paid a 5'6" defenseman way too much money and gave up Peter Angelo. That was
Parayko's a good
Letty, by the way,
position,
Pearlo,
but he
they're only
can't
paying
skate.
like $4 million a year. That's not the TJ Brody makes $5 for the Maple Leafs, and I don't know. I might rather have Nick Letty. I don't know.
No, I'm not taking Nick Letty over just about anybody. He's a number 7 defenseman.
Okay.
The guy is horrible.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like,
he should only be making like a million a year.
Franco's deal is long, by the way.
Yeah,
his deal is long. I don't know when it ends, but it does not end before 20. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do know when it ends. Franco's deal is 6'5" till 2029, 20.
Wow. And he can't skate right now. Like, he's good positionally. Like, he's a good he's good that way.
He's not
even.
But he's not going to get up and down the ice in 3-4 years from now.
He needs to get a skating.
He's like bow-legged
now because he's not old, dude. He's only 30. I sometimes feel like defensemen, you never know, man. Like,
no.
I mean,
you know what Parayko is?
Like
Parayko is good Branson. Parayko is good Branson.
Where's good Branson at now? Oh, was he with the Columbus, right?
He's making a ridiculous amount of money in Columbus at $4 million a year. Both of them should be making $2 million at best. So it's a huge overpay. You pay Peter Angelo all day. You drop your philosophy that you don't want to give long-term contracts to this guy and then give like a shitload of money to a guy that is basically a 5'6" defenseman. That has been their destruction of St. Louis. That has been the reason why St. Louis is where they are right now. Peter, it's terrible.
Yeah, I think they missed David Perron. That was a big loss for them.
Yzerman just stole him away and signed him in Detroit. Yeah, and I think Perron was a heart and soul guy. He was there back when the David Backes days. It was Backes and Perron running the show in St. Louis back then.
I'll say this weird, quirky thing about Perron. Before he signed with Detroit this year as a UFA, he had only signed with the Blues. He literally has played for like 7 different teams, but he's only signed with the Blues like 2 other times. But
he was there in Vegas his first year, weren't they? When Vegas made the final, he was there.
He was with Vegas, but he was traded there.
Yeah.
So, he was a part of the expansion draft. I don't know if he was an expansion draft guy, but
the guy is a definition of. I don't know. He keeps on going back to the Blues, and the Blues keep on throwing him aside. It's crazy.
Yeah, I see if they re-sign O'Reilly, they somehow try to get him back because they needed him in that lineup.
They're not going to re-sign O'Reilly.
You never know. No. Well, he's a UFA. The UFA, by the way, the UFAs. Okay, so Rico and I were talking a little bit about what would you do if you were the Leafs. Let me. What is going on, man? Am I getting an ad or something? Good God. Yeah, let me go to this.
I don't know what I do from the Leafs. They screwed up so much already. I don't even know.
And you get all the players at the Leafland that hate the media, but they all want to be there and they all love it there. But of course, they love it there because they're getting paid. Marner's close. Marner's from Toronto, so like he finishes that game and he goes right home. Tavares is the same thing. He finishes that game and he goes home.
You could tell that. This is why I think they have to trade Marner. I think they have too much inmates running the asylum. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do. I see Hot Take Hockey do this, and I don't want to stay too much longer, guys. I appreciate you coming on, but I want to do a little trade machine thing.
Cool, because I'll search Pearlo Wisdom on YouTube. I do trade videos all the time. I just
I'm not gonna. Well, no, that's great, but we're gonna do it together live. Okay, we're gonna sharpshoot a couple of these. Let's look at. I want you guys to. Okay, so I've got I'll give you the teams involved. Okay, so I've got, if they're just ridiculous and stupid and there's no way the team's ever going to do them, we're going to pop off them, but we're going to make fun of the people that made them. Okay, so the first one I'm interested in doing is Connor MC. It's with the Islanders, Oilers, and Arizona Coyotes, and I'm going to let you guys pick.
Connor who?
Connor MC. The name of the trade. So McDavid to the Islanders for a 5th and 2nd round pick. Out Jack Campbell, out McDavid, in Barzell, in Sorokin. Okay. I
do that. Yeah. No, not with me. Not with McDavid. No, I don't. No. Interesting. Draisaitl, yes, I do that. I trade Draisaitl for Sorokin.
Would you trade Connor McDavid? That's interesting.
No.
You're getting they took on Campbell deal, which is not good.
Doesn't matter. I'm not doing it.
And you get Barzell and Sorokin. Oh my goodness, man.
No.
You don't need Barzell's such a good passer. Ooh, I'd consider it. Because of Sorokin.
I would do Draisaitl though, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
No
so that wasn't his bad. I'm not making fun of this guy. Juch 121. Good call, man. He did this 3 hours ago.
No, it is a good call, but I wouldn't do it for McDavid.
Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna let Pearlo pick the next one, and I'll just go down the list here. We've got a trade between the Ducks and the Vancouver Canucks. Interested in that? Just give me a yay or nay. We got Rangers and Canucks, Vancouver, New York Rangers, each other what they want and need. Interested in that, Pearlo? You're going to pick the next one here. So,
okay, what's the trade?
Okay, you want to see it? Okay, we'll look at a bunch of these guys, so don't worry. Okay, so here's what they got. They got the Rangers giving Jacob Trouba and Alexi Lafreniere for Bouvillier, Garland, Bear, Lettermachy, Josh Bloom, a 3rd round pick from Vancouver, and a 2nd round pick from Vancouver. So basically, man, if I'm the Rangers, I might do that all day.
Any deal that gets rid of Trouba, I'm in. Pretty much.
That's a good deal for the Rangers, is for Pearlo.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Rico? What do you think?
Any deal that gets rid of Trouba, I'm in. Yeah, I'll do that.
I don't know, man. Lafreniere, he's top rated #1 pick. Trouba's a good D, man. You win the trade when you get the best player, in my opinion. But I don't know. That's a lot of players to give up for those two.
Trouba's way overrated. I agree. Lafreniere can be great, but I would do the deal if I was the Rangers to get rid of Trouba for sure. That contract.
He's not going anywhere though. His wife's
No,
a
he's not.
doctor there, and he went there.
No,
and just,
no, there's no. He's not going anywhere. But if that deal were to be a choice, I would do that deal for sure all day.
What about the one we talked about earlier, Beard? About Nylander going to Vancouver?
Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can find one. Or we can create one. Or you guys can do it at one point in time too, and then just put it up there and I'll pull it up.
We could do this all day, dude. I love trades.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to kill a little bit of time with this. I wanted to see if I wanted to give our special guest some time if he was deciding to come. I just checked this real quick.
Yeah.
Dude, I got nothing to do. I'm off tomorrow, so like if you guys want to hang out, I'm good.
I'm up at 4 in the morning.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
All right, we might just be doing it all nighter. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Rico, how about this? If Matthews goes, Phil all wings, sign O'Reilly at Charlie Canucks Center. It's between Arizona Canucks and the Leafs. You want to check this one out?
So I'm watching this on my phone, so I can't see.
I'll read it out to you. I'll read it out to you. Yeah,
okay.
I'll read it out to you, so don't worry. It's okay. So out for Vancouver is Tyler Myers, 50% retained to Arizona. So they got I think they got him going. Trade occurred while using LTIR relief. Okay. The Leafs out. Simmons. I don't know why. These guys are all Gustafson, Hall, Bunting, Matthews, Kerfoot, and Robertson. Okay. So really, that's a 2-person trade because everybody else is a UFA. So this guy doesn't look at UFAs. Yeah. In for the Leafs is
Vancouver
Myers,
really wants to get rid of Myers.
Mika and Vitaly Kravtsov, who's not played for them. That's the guy they got in the Rangers deal.
Yeah. Any way you can get rid of Myers, I'm in.
Vancouver wants Myers gone. And they're talking about buying out Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Like, Vancouver's in real trouble right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in cap hell too. Talking about a team that's got some terrible contracts. And then they gave, I don't know why they gave him. Let's do Lily available. This trade seems a little more plausible. This is a trade between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Winnipeg Jets. Timothy Liljegren for Dylan DeMello. It's a hockey trade.
Liljegren for DeMello?
I like that trade for the Leafs.
Yeah, I do. DeMello had a career year this year. But Liljegren makes a lot of sense for the Jets too. I actually like that deal. I like that.
The Leafs need more right-handed shot at D, especially if Hall's going out the door. You don't have Shen there. Everybody's left-handed on that defense core for Toronto, it seems.
Yeah. DeMello had a career year defensively this year. Fantastic year. And if I'm the Jets, it would be hard to get rid of DeMello. I'd have to really talk to the agent to make sure that Liljegren would be okay to live in a cold wasteland like Winnipeg. But
what's wrong with Winnipeg, man?
Liljegren's from Sweden, man. He's used to the winters.
Yeah, he ain't gonna have no problems.
Not that much of a winter, and I mean Sweden's a pretty little place. Winnipeg.
You're in a wintry place if you have the Winter Olympics there, and Sweden had the Winter Olympics, not the summer ones, so it's a winter country.
Sweden is pretty. Winnipeg is not pretty. There's nothing.
Sweden's got their own bikini team.
Yeah. There's nothing pretty about Winnipeg. Nothing.
Hey, real quick, though, if I had to play in a Canadian market, Winnipeg might be my choice. Calgary would probably be where I'd want to.
Because you like cold places. But if you're going to live in Winnipeg, it's because you don't like people.
No, what I'm saying is you'd get a lot less media attention in Winnipeg.
Yes, that's right.
So I feel like that's the one where you could just not have to deal with the shithead media.
You don't like people. You can go get your land out in the middle of nowhere.
No, I don't mind people. I live in a city, man. So it's like I like people. I picked this one. It's called the Heli trade. And this is a trade between the New Jersey Devils and the Winnipeg Jets. And I like this trade. They're going to trade Nolan Foote and Simon Nemec, which is a pretty good haul there, to the Winnipeg Jets for Connor Hellebuyck.
I don't know enough about Nemec. I like Nemec, but I
I'd make
want
the trade if
Vanacek.
I was Jersey.
Oh,
Jersey
I
needs a
make the
goalie,
trade if I'm
man.
Shovel Day off. I'm rebuilding that team now.
Yeah, oh for sure. I just did a
Yeah.
Hellebuck trade video.
Okay.
I think New Jersey's up there for sure. But I think
Yeah.
Nemec would be a nice pickup, no doubt about that. Because
And
Winnipeg definitely needs.
Nolan Foote, that's a good player.
I want Vanacek on top of that. At least to get a goaltender, they need a goaltender. I'm not a big fan of Vanacek, but
Okay.
give us a goaltender back.
Let's take a look at this one from I Just Need a Troy Gamble. Leafs, Capitals, Canucks retooling on the fly. Out. Willie Nylander, Timothy Liljegren, and Pontus Holmberg. In. Nick Dowd, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, and Tom Wilson. Vancouver trades Brock Besser, Beauvillier, Studnicka, Rathbone, and Kravatsov. The Capitals send over Kuznetsov, Manson, and Iorio. I do not want to trade Dylan or Vincent Iorio, but
wow, my brain's exploding with that.
Okay. So yeah, so the Capitals would be taking on Willie Nee. Would totally take Willie Nee. Brock Besser, Anthony Beauvillier, Timothy Liljegren, Jack Studnicka, Jack Rathbone, Vitaly Kravtsov, and Pontus Holmberg. The Leafs would be taking on Nick Dowd, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, and Wilson. I almost make the trade just because I like Liljegren and Nylander. I think both those guys have just.
Oh, dude, and then he's playing with Sandin again, fellow countrymen.
Yeah, and Sandin looked
rocking
awesome.
Washington.
Sal's still with us. He laughed his ass off at this trade. I'm glad we got Sal along with Rico. But I don't hate this for the Leafs. I mean, the Leafs get the toughness on the line they need and probably a little bit more salary cap stuff because they don't have to pay Willie. They don't have to pay Timothy Liljegren. Didn't make shit. He makes 1.4. But
this is a deal. This is a well thought out deal.
Yeah, I like this deal.
This is a well thought out deal, I would say. This is a really well thought out deal.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this deal. Good. This guy did a good
job.
And
I'm pissed off that Gustafsson didn't have more of a run with Toronto, man. It's just inserting him more into. I know it just sucks. I think that guy had a lot of potential, man. And the Leafs would have went deeper if they would have got injuries to their D. Man, heck, you could have put Jordy Ben in there and he would have played better than Justin Hall.
But
I'm still ranting.
I think this deal was basically centered around a Tom Wilson in Toronto.
Oh, yeah. They should have, like Beard said earlier, they should have traded for Max Domi, man. Having Domi on the back of a Leaf jersey again, the way he's playing for Dallas right now with his old man sitting in the crowd, man, making a playoff run with the Leafs. It's like he's doing in Dallas.
I mean, they could have got Domi over Lafferty. I guarantee that Chicago would have sent anybody they wanted on that outside of like the guys whose contracts the Leafs could just not take on. But it wouldn't matter because Chicago retained anyway, right? So like they could have got nothing against Lafferty, but I would have liked to see what the Leafs needed was some top 6 scoring. All right, well, let's look at one more and then we'll call it a night, boys. I got one between the Leafs and the Golden Knights. Best defenseman for the specimen. Let's take a look at it since we've been talking a lot of Leafs. Justin Hall, Phil Kessel. Okay.
What?
That's funny.
Okay, guy.
That is funny.
Justin Hall and Phil Kessel are both UFAs at the end of this year. So that's
Phil Kessel's probably going to retire.
Oh, here's a guy that's Big Mayo. He says Nylander trade, roast me. This is between the Columbus Blue Jackets and Willie Nylander. Nylander, Nick Robertson for Columbus's first round pick. And you also get Boston's first round pick. So basically you're just getting rid of Robertson and Nylander for a first round pick this year. And what's Columbus number 3?
Columbus doesn't have the cap space to do that. Not even close.
Yeah, so that's a bad trade.
Amazingly, they are capped out. That is unbelievable with how bad that team is. They have no cap space at all. which is
next year I think they're going to have quite a bit, though, are they not? It doesn't matter because there's nobody good in it next year.
Not really. Like, they are so far away, it's ridiculous. They don't really have all that much cap space next year.
Okay, let's try one more. No shot, Vancouver, Devils, and the Rangers. I will say I wanted to talk about this. I really wonder what I don't think the Devils bring Jesper Bratt back. I don't think you could pay that guy. He was
I agree.
Non-factor in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Meyer, they're going to pay Meyer, but they're not going to pay him.
Yeah, I would too. I would pay. Okay, so this is Brendan Smith, Thomas Tatar, Timo Meyer for Mikkola, Quinn Hughes. So they're trying to trade for Quinn Hughes. I don't know. Why would Vancouver get rid of Quinn Hughes? They're not doing this.
There's no way they're doing that. He's just trying to find a way that they get the Hughes brothers together. There's no way. There's
Thomas
no way.
Tatar, this is a big complex. So the Vancouver would essentially get Smith. Basically, they'd get Lafreniere and Timo Meyer. So Vancouver might consider it if they got those two wingers. But how does he get? Okay.
There's no. Smith is not even a factor.
Cooper, Zach. And they trade Brendan Smith, Mikkola, and Lafreniere. Okay. Well, the Rangers are going to have to pay Lafreniere. And the problem with them right now, and I think the problem with Lafreniere's game, this is a good way to end it, is that he's not getting the playing time he needs to be developed.
Yeah, I think the problem with this game is he's still a very young player that tried to work up the league from the time he was 18 years old and trying to work up a lineup that signed Creeder. You never should have signed Creeder if you're going to draft Lafreniere. You should have drafted someone else.
Sal says, Domi was great with the Stars, but I don't think he would have played as well in Toronto. Just the culture of the Leafs. Look at Ryan O'Reilly. He wasn't as effective. Yeah, but Sal, if you watch Ryan O'Reilly this year, he was awful. He was awful for the Blues this year.
He was
terrible for Toronto, I think. So
he was okay.
Ryan O'Reilly's a guy that's not going to age well.
Who's going to overpay for O'Reilly?
Someone's giving him $4 million next year because the free agent class is terrible, man. It's terrible. One thing is Frank Saravelli's
yeah, but $4 million for 1 year or $4 million for 4 years.
But who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Tell me.
Probably 3-year deal. He gets a 3-year deal, probably.
Tell me who's going to do it.
Perlo, I don't know who's going to do it, but I'm telling you, someone will do it. I bet Michael Bunning gets $5 million a year too. I'm not going to be surprised.
No,
I'm just telling you. You know when
St.
we
Louis
have
will sign O'Reilly.
Years, those guys who are. What did Toronto give Clarkson?
That was way
that
back.
Was the worst.
David Clarkson. That was an awful deal, and fortunately for the Leafs, he had a career-ending back injury and he couldn't play. But otherwise, they'd still be paying him. So I think they are still paying him.
You got to give credit to Clarkson. That year, that dude gave up every part of his body to get that contract, and Toronto sucked into it.
He made himself like $49 million.
You know who's?
I know. He did.
You know who's the UFC Toronto needs?
Who?
Dumba is who the Leafs need.
No,
it would be a good ad if they could get him.
Matthew Dumba is a UFA this year.
But he's not going to come. He's going to be paid well too.
He's not. He had a bad year. He's poor defensively. If Toronto is a analytics team like they say they are, which I doubt they are, there's no way they take Dumba. He's terrible defensively. Terrible. No. I mean, they might do it because.
So Minnie doesn't re-sign him.
Oh, they can't keep. They don't have the room for him.
Minnie's not even.
Yeah, they know. Minneapolis is in the worst shape because of those buyouts. For 2 more years, they are effed.
But they were good buyouts. Yeah, I agree with you.
It was the right decision. No, I 100% believe it was the right decision for them. I think Suter's a bad fit there for them. He's playing fine for Dallas, but
no, he's not. He's horrible, and that's the reason why I'm taking Vegas. Playing 23 minutes a night, the guy is ass, complete ass. DeBoer is a fucking idiot to play that guy 22 minutes a night. That's why I'm taking Vegas. There's no way you play that guy 22 minutes.
Rico, do you have anything else? It's a good way to end. Let's. When you guys will want to try to revisit next week, I'll just DM you based on I got a lot going on.
I'll do this anytime you want.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on today, Pearlo. I know you had some other stuff, so yeah, let me get out of here. I want to go eat dinner and stuff, so I appreciate it. Sorry we didn't get the special guest. I'll try to have him on again.
Who was that supposed to be?
Well, it was going to be Arizona sports guy. But I think he's covering this thing, so he said he might be able to come on at 7. So his time, which was a while ago. So hopefully Arizona gets their new arena. I want to finish it off with that. I'm going to let the thing go, guys, and I might come back and BS if you're still sitting here after I end the stream. That's no problem. I just want to end it so we're off the internet, but we can still talk or whatever. Let me go get some food. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming out. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.